Nigerian government came out openly and denied there is no massacre, there is no genocide of Christians in Nigeria. And look at it today. Is there any Muslim here?
If Christians are asking the question, man, why is it that Islam in general seems to have a radical targeting of both Christians and Jewish people? Like, we actually have Bible verses for this. And I don't think a lot of Christians realize this. If you go back to the Old Testament, when God comes and he establishes a covenant with Abraham, he tells Abraham he's going to establish his covenant and it's going to have three things as part of the covenant that he gives him. He says, man, I'm going to give you this land as, quote, an everlasting possession. That's theologically significant, talking about the nation of Israel. And then he says, I'm going to give you a lineage. He's saying through your lineage is eventually going to come the Lord. Yeah. And the Lord Jesus Christ is a descendant of Abraham, obviously. So the three parts of the covenant are, this is really important: land, lineage, and Lord. What God tells Abraham is, I'm going to give you a son. The whole story gets kind of weird. Abraham has a wife named Sarah. They have to wait a really long time, and the son's not coming. Abraham gets nervous and begins to lack faith in God's promise. So Abraham, I do not recommend this. Abraham ends up sleeping with one of his servants named Hagar. Actually, Sarah, his wife, encourages it. That's a little bit of a miss. There's a child born to Abraham and Hagar named Ishmael. Bookmark that name. That's going to be really important here in a second. That child was not supposed to happen. So you can think of that as the child of the flesh. Now, eventually, God comes through on his promise like God does with all of his promises. And Abraham and Sarah end up having the child of the promise. His name was Isaac. You got one covenant, but you got two sons. That's your problem. Bro, this is insane. This is what thousands of years ago God said would happen to the lineage of Ishmael and the lineage of Isaac. The Jewish people are the descendants of Isaac. Most of the Arabic nations that became the Islamic nations are the descendants of Ishmael. Thousands of years ago, this is what was prophesied what would happen to Isaac and Ishmael. The angel of the Lord also said to Hagar, you are now pregnant and will give birth to a son, Ishmael. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery. Listen, he will be a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him. And he will live in hostility towards all his brothers. So the Bible is literally prophesying thousands of years ago, the descendants of Ishmael will be at war with the descendants of Isaac, the Islamic Arabic people and the Jewish people. And guess what you have right now? You are dealing with 4,000 years, 5,000, however many thousand years of prophesied enmity between these people.